When people hear the term erection, they often associate it exclusively with male sexual health. However, the human body is full of fascinating parallels, and female sexual arousal involves its own intricate process of engorgement and sensitivity, sometimes colloquially referred to as a female erection. To truly understand what causes a female erection, it's essential to explore the underlying anatomy, the physiological mechanisms at play, and the complex interplay of hormones, nerves, and psychological factors that contribute to female sexual arousal and pleasure. At the core of female sexual anatomy is the clitoris, a remarkably sensitive organ whose sole function is to provide sexual pleasure. The clitoris is much more than the small external glands that's visible at the top of the vulva. It extends internally, branching into two long crura, or legs, that run along the sides of the vaginal opening, as well as two bulbs of erectile tissue known as the vestibular bulbs. In fact, the clitoris contains more than 8,000 nerve endings, more than any other part of the human body, making it the primary center of sexual sensation for most women. Much like the male penis, the clitoris is composed of spongy erectile tissue that becomes engorged with blood during sexual arousal. When a woman is sexually stimulated, whether through touch, sight, sound, smell, thought, or emotional connection, her body initiates a complex sequence of events. First, the brain interprets sexual cues and sends signals through the spinal cord, motivating the autonomic nervous system. This system, which controls involuntary bodily functions, triggers the release of neurotransmitters such as nitric oxide. Nitric oxide relaxes the smooth muscles in the blood vessels supplying the clitoris and surrounding tissues, allowing them to dilate and increase blood flow. As blood fills the spongy erectile tissues of the clitoris and the vestibular bulbs, these structures swell and become firmer, much like an erection in the penis. This engorgement heightens sensitivity, enhances sexual pleasure, and often makes the clitoris more prominent and easier to stimulate. The labia minora, or inner lips of the vulva, may also become engorged and change color, typically becoming darker or more flush due to increased blood flow, but arousal and engorgement don't stop at the clitoris. The entire vulva, including the labia and the vaginal walls, participates in the process. The vagina itself undergoes a transformation during arousal known as vaginal tenting. The upper portion of the vaginal canal expands and lengthens, accommodating potential penetration. Glands within the vagina and cervix secrete a lubricating fluid, making intercourse more comfortable and reducing friction. This natural lubrication is another hallmark of female sexual arousal. It's important to recognize that, while the physical processes are crucial, sexual arousal in women is also shaped by psychological and emotional factors. The brain is often called the most powerful sexual organ, and for good reason. Desire, anticipation, emotional intimacy, and even relaxation all play critical roles in kickstarting and sustaining arousal. Stress, anxiety, and distractions, on the other hand, can dampen the body's natural responses, making it more difficult for the physiological changes of arousal, like clitoral engorgement, to occur. Hormones are another key factor in female sexual health. Estrogen, the primary female sex hormone, helps maintain healthy blood flow to the genital tissues and supports the production of vaginal lubrication. Testosterone, though present at lower levels in women than men, also plays a role in sexual desire and sensitivity. Fluctuations in hormone levels, whether due to the menstrual cycle, pregnancy, menopause, or medical conditions, can affect a woman's ability to become aroused and to experience the physical changes associated with a female erection. Unlike male erections, which are often more visually apparent and linked to a binary state of being either erect or not erect, the female erection exists on a spectrum. Engorgement of the clitoris and surrounding tissues can vary in degree and may not always be externally noticeable. Some women experience a pronounced swelling and heightened sensitivity, while others notice more subtle changes. This variability is influenced by individual anatomy, age, hormonal balance, emotional state, and even previous sexual experiences. The parallels between male and female sexual anatomy don't end with the clitoris. In fact, the clitoris and the penis are homologous organs, meaning they develop from the same embryonic tissues. Both contain erectile tissue, both are highly sensitive, and both play central roles in sexual pleasure and orgasm. However, the way these organs respond to stimulation and arousal reflects the beautiful diversity of human sexuality. Understanding the mechanisms behind female erection is not just a matter of curiosity. It's a cornerstone of women's sexual health, empowerment, and well-being. Many women are unaware of the full extent of their own anatomy and the processes that underlie arousal and pleasure. This lack of knowledge can contribute to sexual dissatisfaction, difficulty achieving orgasm, or even shame and discomfort around sexuality. Open conversations about female sexual health, education about anatomy, and the normalization of female pleasure are critical steps toward a healthier, more fulfilling experience of sexuality for all women. Recognizing that the body is designed for pleasure and that female erection is a natural and healthy part of arousal can help break down barriers of misunderstanding or stigma. Sexual health is also influenced by overall physical health. Factors such as cardiovascular fitness, blood flow, and nerve function all play roles in the body's ability to experience arousal. Chronic conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, or nerve disorders can impact blood flow to the genitals and reduce sensitivity. Medications, especially certain antidepressants and hormonal treatments, may also affect arousal and lubrication. Communication with partners is another essential element. Understanding one's own body, being able to articulate desires and boundaries, and feeling safe and respected are all vital to achieving and sustaining sexual arousal. For many women, emotional connection, trust, and intimacy are as important as physical stimulation in creating the optimal conditions for arousal and pleasure. In summary, the phenomenon of female erection is a multifaceted process rooted in anatomy, physiology, psychology, and emotion. It involves the engorgement of erectile tissues in the clitoris and surrounding vulva, increased blood flow, and enhanced sensitivity during sexual arousal. This process is influenced by hormones, nerve signals, emotional connection, and overall health. Understanding and embracing these mechanisms is a powerful way to promote sexual well-being, confidence, and satisfaction in women of all ages. Ultimately, female sexual health is about more than just mechanics or anatomy. It's about the freedom to explore, understand, and enjoy one's own body and desires. By deepening our knowledge of what causes female erection and the processes of arousal, we can foster greater empathy, communication, and fulfillment for women everywhere.